What is up, guys? Wisdom for the Wayward Soul here, back with arguably the best resource on Lenormand, your podcast, Learning the Lenormand. So today we're going to be talking about the Clover card. It's the second card in the Lenormand deck, and one of my favorites to see come up in a reading outside of the bouquet. So let's get right into it. So the polarity of the Clover is positive, of course. This is one of the more positive cards in the deck. Its cartomancy equivalent is the Six of Diamonds, which we'll talk about a little bit further into the podcast. But the card relates to small luck. It relates to this idea of small victories. And these victories can add up over time. So think of this as a card of building abundance, right? It's the idea that we're getting these abundance in little spurts, right? And that's going to have a snowball effect. So it's this idea of building momentum and building abundance through small victories. So pretty positive card. It's kind of the sister card to the bouquet, which we'll talk about later in the series. But the bouquet is another card that sort of talks about this big abundant event, right? Or this big energetic abundant shift, right? So this is kind of the sister card to the bouquet. So it's depicted as a four-leaf clover or a clover flower, depending on what card deck you're using. In my card deck, hold on one second. So ill-prepared, but we're leaving it in. We're not editing out. You know why? Because we're authentic on this channel. We're authentic and we're honest. So in my deck, it is shown as a clover flower. So let's get into that cartomancy equivalent. It's related to the Six of Diamonds, which, unlike the Rider, which was kind of confusing in its cartomancy equivalent, this one actually lines up. The Six of Diamonds and cartomancy kind of shares the themes that the Clover has in terms of luck and prosperity. From what I saw when I was researching, because I don't do traditional cartomancy on the reg. So I wanted to make sure I researched and gave you guys some good information. So what I was seeing is that a lot of time the Six of Diamonds will come up in like a financial reading or some type of aspect like that, but it can come up in the broad sense. So I feel like the Clover is a little bit more potent in terms of it being very meant for general themes and sort of the specifics being influenced by the other energy of the cards, whereas the Six of Diamonds seems to be more financially geared but can apply to other things. So they're a little bit mirroring each other in that sense, but they both share the same themes, and I do feel like the Six of Diamonds is very appropriate for the Clover card. But let's get into some astrological influences, because I try to give you guys as much context on these cards as I can. So I found that the Clover was often associated with the planet Jupiter. So Jupiter has a reputation for luck, opportunities, and expansion, which I feel like the Clover very much covers. The Clover is very much about luck, and it's about opportunity. And that opportunity can bring expansion, though I find that the expansion is more of a byproduct of that luck than an inherent trait of the card itself. Jupiter also encourages growth through seizing opportunities, and I want to talk about that because I feel like it's very important. The Clover is this idea of small luck and small victories, right? And I think that this idea of seizing opportunities is very important when you're looking at this, because in order to seize an opportunity, there has to be some kind of conflict or challenge, right? And you can't have a victory without a conflict or challenge. So it really lines up with the inherent natural message of the Clover. So I was really happy to kind of see that as reflected in the astrological aspect of this, right? And then naturally the two zodiacs that are associated with the Clover are the same ones that have Jupiter as their planetary ruler, which is Sagittarius and Pisces. Sagittarius usually has an aspect of risk-taking, and it has that sort of adventurous nature in meeting challenges, which are qualities that we have to have if we're going to look at an energy that's all about small victories. Right, we have to be able to meet challenges to be victorious. And then we have to be open for challenges in that way. And then Pisces is about following those intuitive processes and going with the flow. And it really adds that levity and that positive energy that the Clover brings to the card. So I think the Sagittarius covers the action points of the cards, and the Pisces really covers the vibe of the Clover, right? And I think it's very appropriate that, we have two zodiacs there, because the Lenormand is all about combining energies, right? It's not like the tarot where you read the cards as a singular energy that contributes to one another. No, the Lenormand is a system of combination. It's a system of alchemy, right? So when we're putting these messages together, we're getting that new, strong, definitive third message. So I really like that these two zodiacs are working together to really get the message of the card out there, right? So I did want to touch on the tarot perspective as well, because I think it is very important for those of us that have a background in tarot to kind of understand what this card might be equivalent to help us better learn how to read. Right, so we have that it's associated. I found that it's associated with the Fool, and I found that it's associated with the Wheel of Fortune. Now, I don't agree so much with the Fool as I do the Wheel of Fortune. I believe that it more aligns with the Wheel of Fortune if I had to choose one. I think that the Fool does cover a journey, which the Clover absolutely can be indicative of, right? I think that you have to be on some sort of journey to have these small victories, to have these challenges, and to emerge in a positive manner. So I understand the connection to the Fool there. And I absolutely leave it up to your discretion what you want to associate these Lenormand cards with. I'm just presenting the information to you. However, myself personally, I would associate it more with the Wheel of Fortune, because the Wheel of Fortune exemplifies the cycles, right? The cycles that we see with these small victories. It exemplifies that we have to kind of, tackle multiple challenges and tackle multiple opportunities for growth in order to get to where we want to be. And those cycles bring us that positivity, right? Those cycles start to add up with that positive energy until we can get to a place where we have that large degree of abundance. So I really feel like in this regard, the Wheel of Fortune is the better fit for the Clover, but you could certainly look at it as the Fool. It's all about how you read and how you want to interpret the card. But with that said, I think that's a pretty good kind of basic rundown of the Clover. I do want to do some plugs at the end of the video here. So the next episode of the podcast is going to be on the next card in the Lenormand, which is the Ship. So I'm super excited for that card. It's one of my favorite cards to talk about, if I'm being honest, just because there's so many layers to it, and I like to tackle those layers. So the next episode is going to be on the Ship, and I'm super excited to talk about it. That's going to be released next Friday. Also, if you want to learn Lenormand one-on-one, if you want to do this at a more accelerated, but also equally more comprehensive pace, feel free to reach out to me. I have 2 coaching packages on my website, and they're both pretty banging. They come with a free 15-minute consultation to see, kind of where you're at, what you want to learn, and if I'm the right fit for you. So you kind of get that little risk-free bit of time with me to discuss your goals and see what we can do for you. In addition to that, please, if you are not subscribed, like this video, subscribe, and make sure your notifications are turned on for every episode of the podcast. I also have an email list out now that's in the link tree in my bio. It's a SurveyMonkey link, so you just pop on there, you hit yes that you want to be on the mailing list, and then you pop your email in. I am doing discounts every month on various types of reading that I do. So there's going to be something for everyone over the course of, a few months. So I'm really excited to offer that. This month is the first month, so there is a big discount on my on a reading. One of my specialty readings, that you have to join the mailing list to find out. I almost had like a slip. I almost had like a Tom Holland Marvel slip there, but I'm not going to do it. You got to be on the mailing list to find out. But other than that, follow my YouTube, follow my TikTok, and check out my website, guys. I absolutely love teaching, and I absolutely love filming these podcasts. So tune in next week for the episode on the Ship, and I hope that this video helped. If you have any questions, if you need any clarification, pop them in the comments. I will answer it in a comment if it's warranting a comment, and if it needs a video, I'll make a whole nother video. So definitely check that out. Definitely comment if you need any questions answered. So I hope you have a great morning, evening, or night wherever you are watching this from and whenever you are watching this from. But I will catch you later, and thank you for tuning in for another episode of Learning Lenormand.